All right, let's talk some defense. The Alabama offensive line, stellar as usual. Ohio State came into the game, and now we know how rough of a spot Ohio State had along the offensive front. But there was even concern going into the Fiesta Bowl, and then it was completely exposed by the likes of Christian Wilkins. Clelin Ferrell had an amazing game up front, but the lateral speed of this defensive front and then the ability to also anchor it down in the middle is pretty amazing. And it's just this we talked about it recently, Ryan. It's recruiting combined with development of players.
Yeah, Clemson's recruiting on the defensive line is comparable to Alabama, and that's where their defense is so incredibly talented. They average 4.25 stars on the defensive line in the two deep. That's a 4-3 scheme, so that's 8 different guys. You have Christian Wilkins, who's one of the best sophomore D linemen in the country. He's moved to defensive end now because we had some injuries, and it just puts the best 4 guys on the line on the field. And I think that's going to be an area where Clemson has to win the battle if they're going to beat this ridiculously talented Alabama team. Jalen Hurts has not been excellent when under pressure, and his stats against the elite defenses, and he's played quite a few elite defenses to his credit, are notably different than when he plays mediocre defenses, and he can turn them up. They've really relied on a ground and pound attack against elite defenses like LSU. And so if Clemson's D-line could stop up the run, I don't know that they could rely on Jalen Hurts' arm to win games. They haven't had to do it all year, and I would be surprised if they have to do it now for the first time against one of the best defenses they played and they come through.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how much Clemson does sell out against the run, because Bo Scarborough, we talked about it with Ben previously, he's in that Derrick Henry mold. In addition to having probably much better speed than Derrick Henry, is just a battering ram that defenses have to gang tackle to have any chance, because he is just a monster. And Alabama, with a freshman quarterback and Jalen Hurts, who's not accustomed to shouldering the load, we'll see how much Clemson really loads the box and makes it obvious that, hey, we are daring you to throw, because while you do that against teams that are limited at the receiver position, that's not the case with Alabama. They just have the quarterback that's less proven than most teams playing in a championship game, but Alabama very equipped at wide receiver to make big plays if given the chance. So that's going to be obviously a Brent Venables decision to make, how much we truly load up the box and dare them to throw it downfield.
Yeah, I mean, Ohio State is definitely a run-first team, and you saw Clemson really jam up that run game. They almost didn't bother handing the ball up to Mike Weber, which is usually a huge component of their offense. Clemson has a great D-line, and they've always been, I shouldn't say always, but in recent years have been very good at stopping the run. As Clemson pulled away from Ohio State, you saw them finally try to take a few deep shots, and 2 plays in a row, Ohio State got pass interference calls. I think you have to be able to take a couple shots. Clemson's secondary is probably the least talented group of their defense, maybe of the whole roster. That's not to say they're not talented and they're not good. Cordrea Tankersley's an NFL cornerback. But I think you've got to take some shots against Clemson's defense, especially if you want to loosen it up and make some run plays.